So we've used the zoom tool in different ways to change the document window magnification. We clicked, we hold down a keyboard modifier, which was the option key on my Mac. We drug the zoom in and out, so on and so forth. There's another way, and I've honestly never used this before, but it's available. If you click on Window and then go to Navigator, it opens this Navigator panel over here, which I've honestly never used, but it is an option. It's got a slider, and when you click on it, you can slide and it zooms in and out using that. Just another way to do things. You can click these arrows right here and it takes it back away. So I'm going to fit mine back on my screen. One of the most common edits you're likely to make when you're working with images is to brighten an image taken with a digital camera or phone. You're going to brighten this image by changing its brightness and contrast values. So over here in your layers panel, first thing we need to do is make sure your rose layer is selected. In the adjustments panel above that, you see where it's got properties, adjustment, libraries. Click on adjustments. That opens your adjustment panel. Click the brightness contrast icon. And if you don't know what they are, when you hover your mouse, you see that you have brightness, contrast, levels, curves, so on and so forth. So click on brightness contrast and it opens up this panel. In the properties panel, we're going to move the brightness slider to 98. Now you can either slide it till you get to 98, or you could even click right here and type 98. Either way, that's the number that I'm choosing. You don't have to choose exactly 98. If you want to do something different on all of these things that I do, you're welcome to do whatever looks good for you, as long as you've made some adjustments. When you turn these in, I'm going to have the original and I'll have yours, and I should be able to see that you've changed things. The contrast slider, we're going to go up to 18 on that. And you can see that the image of the rose is now brightened. In the layers panel, click the eye icon for the brightness contrast adjustment layer. You can see that we have this adjustment layer right here. When we started doing that, it created that layer. When I click the eye, you can see that it hides what we've done. Adjustment layers let you make changes like this without permanently altering the actual pixels. So we haven't actually done anything to that picture because we've done it in a layer. If we would have just done it a different way, it could permanently adjust it, and we don't want to do that. You can always disable this edit by hiding when you hide that, or you can delete it. So if you were to left click with your mouse and drag it down here to the trash can, that would delete it. So layering is a big thing for Photoshop. It has many kinds of layers, some of which contain images, some will have text, some will have solid colors, some that just simply interact with the layers below them. And we'll learn more about that in the fourth lesson. So double click the properties panel and that will collapse what we've done. Let's click File, and then we're going to Save As. Go to your Lesson 1 folder. You should have a Lesson 1 folder. If you haven't, we'll create that, but you should have that now. And we're going to rename this 01 Working. And then we're going to put underscore your last name. So I'm going to type Perazine. So 01 Working underscore Perazine, and then click Save. If you get this, maximize compatibility, click OK. If you never want to see that again, you can check that box, but click OK because we do want to maximize that. So when we save that file with a different name, it ensures that the original file remains unchanged. That way we can return to it if something happens and we want to completely start over. We would be able to do that. And you see that up here right now, the name is changed right here. It shows me how much I've zoomed in. It shows me that I have this brightness contrast layer, And you notice that remember the little asterisk that was outside of here before? It is no longer there because we just saved it. Photoshop uses a foreground color and a background color when you paint on a layer. Most of the time you're going to pay attention to the foreground color. And if you see right over here, here's your foreground and background. By default, the foreground color is black and the background color is white. You can change the foreground, hint, that may be a quiz question. You can change the foreground and background colors in several ways. One way is to use the eyedropper tool to sample a color from an image. We're going to use the eyedropper tool now to sample the blue of one ribbon so you can match that color when you create another ribbon. So first we need to display the ribbons layer, which mine is already displayed if yours is not. So click on the eye and that will display the ribbons layer. Then you want to click on that layer to make sure that layer is selected, because if we don't click on that layer, what we do is not going to affect, it's not going to do what we want it to do. And make sure you've selected that. Then go over here and select the eyedropper tool, which is right here. So click on that. And then in the blue area of the happy birthday color, click somewhere in there. And you can see over here in the panel, there's our color, which matches this color perfectly. So by doing that, and you can see down here in the foreground color is now changed to this blue. So now when we go to create something, we can use this method and it's going to match perfectly. So if we were to create another ribbon down here, it's going to match exactly.